agreement with Harvard Business Review that we use for our leadership development group. They provided some extensive resources around leading through a pandemic situation and some of the things you might think about there, and I'll circulate that to council and to the CAOs as well.
Thank you, Madam CEO. Any other questions of clarity? I know it's very important. We hear here all the time, wash your hand, wash your hands, wash your hands, and continue to do that. I think it's interesting that our county does have an older aging population that's probably more vulnerable than maybe other communities, which is something that, you know, it keeps in the back of our mind, and certainly, yes, we just have to keep in the communication. Jennifer, do you have something?
I wonder if Jen wants to just give them the Coles notes of what you've...
Yeah, Jennifer, you gave us an update the other day, but maybe you want to summarize?
Oh, thanks. Sure. I'll just add, Warden McQueen, to your comments. The precautions that you take are for your own protection, but also for the protection of those vulnerable people in our community. So it's important to look at them for yourself and your own family, but then also for the broader. And that's what the intentions of increasing the screening and the enhanced precautions that we are taking is to, at this point, to protect the vulnerable people in our community. So a press release went out this morning just advising families, residents, and the community that we have been directed by the province to move from self-screening to active screening. And so that is in place in the 3 homes, and that is indicating that any visitor at any time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, anyone coming into the home will be met by a staff trained to do the active screening process. So they'll be actively asking them questions and then making a determination as to whether or not they should postpone their visit. And there's instructions for what staff are to do if someone answers positively to some of the questions. And we will support that visitor in contacting public health and what their next steps are and have them postpone their visit. So we have that in place. And as has been mentioned, things are changing on an hourly basis rather than a daily basis. So as we get information, we'll do our best to get that communicated to you.
Thanks, Jennifer. All right, any other, you're right, Jen, it's changing day to day and hour to hour. Every time you watch the news at night, it's like, holy smokes. And I thought it was interesting last night where they actually, a lady from Toronto, how they test with that up the nose thing, and like, oh boy, and it's a swab that goes up your nose. And but they're saying, like, unless you really feel that you have something, you're not just going to get tested. You have to, you know, they screen you first before they do test you. And anyway, it's quite an interesting times right at this point for sure. Any other comment there? The other, just for other business, County Council, you're probably aware at the lower tier that there's changes to the Blue Box program, and this is sort of at your own waste management part. But is coming up to June 20th, AMO is going to be asking everybody to pass a resolution of your transitional date from the old to the new. I don't know through you, Madam CEO, if you could reach out to the CAOs, just in the sense, Simcoe County has a countywide system. There's other systems out there that are countywide, and it was sort of felt, we had a presentation from Michael, I'll tell you in a minute, at our council last week. Michael Barrett, he's from the manager of the CIF. The concern that came across our table was, because we're small municipalities trying to deal with this collectively as the county, maybe through your CAO group, talk to other municipalities and see collectively what we should be doing collectively versus individually. Because you got other, like Simcoe County is a county waste system. I'm not sure about Wellington County or other ones, but it's, and I don't know if that's came across your table yet as the municipal side, but it is sort of something that you're being asked to either be in or be out moving forward. And so I just wondered if there's a bit of a conversation maybe between CEOs that can happen. It's one of those things that's coming to a crossroad. It's very confusing, I find, still in that. Is there any other business then from county councillors? Okay, is there any notice of motions for moving forward? from county councilors? Okay. How was the, oh, sorry, Councillor Millen?
Oh, I thought you were going to ask for an adjournment. Move to adjourn, Mr. Ward?
I'm not there yet. I was just going to ask Councillor Boddy and Deputy Warden Hicks, how was things at the Georgian College? Because you guys went off and...
One of these days, somebody's going to beat up that thing. Pretty cool day. Canada Steamship Lines, obviously the biggest one, the oldest one in Canada, just donated, and they didn't actually say it was $500,000, but $500,000 investment in a training system for the simulator. I was surprised someone hadn't been in the simulator before. If anyone, if you get a chance and Georgian College has an open house, you got to see it. It's pretty cool. So they're using an electronic system on their boat that's, that communicates from the bridge to the engine room directly. So instead of a phone call back to say, can you cut the speed, the dock's coming really fast, they can control it. And it's all, of course, high digital screens that they're doing. So Canadian Steamship Lines wants to try and train people before they get onto their boats and try and figure out how to do it. So they've just donated this $500,000 of this system to Georgian College. It is the only college in Canada that has this system, this communication system for training from the bridge to the engine room. Couple of neat comments that came out. We knew when we were supporting the MED program, the Emergency Duties Program training a couple years ago, that we're going to get a lot of students. They're training 2,600, about 100 cadets, 107 cadets at the college each year. About 1,500 people are trained off campus, and it's 1,000 that are coming in each winter for the MED training program. They're staying at hotels, they're eating at restaurants, they're coming and going. That's a huge number, so that's annual for their training. So it was kind of it was a good day to hear some of the information, and great to have Canadian Steamships and others like them that have donated to Georgian College, and it just helps the whole area.
That's probably part of a recertification that they have to do ever so often, right? And that, I don't know, Deputy Warden, do you have anything to add, or? Good. All right. So, seeing Councillor Millen, you're looking to move?
I will move adjournment, sir, if that's appropriate.
And Councillor O'Leary, second it. All in favor? That's carried. Just